If you're new to embroidery and want to make your first embroidery patch, this tutorial is for you. Let's do it. Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Shawn, and in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you step by step how to make your own embroidery patch. I've had this request from quite a few people, so I wanted to go step by step, make a brand new video. I do have a video where I was using my brother PE900, which I'll link in a card up above. I'll also drop it in the description box for you, showing you how I made a patch. But I wanted to do a updated video, even though nothing really has changed, just the machine. So we're going to go through step by step from putting your bobbin in, threading the machine, selecting your design, and stitching out, as well as putting your adhesive backing on here. So we're going to do all the things, okay? So I'm going to go over the supplies that you'll need, and then I'm going to bring you on this side, turn my machine around, and give you a close-up view so you can see everything that I'm doing, okay? So first and most importantly, you're going to need your embroidery machine. This is the Brother PE900 that I'll be using, and this is a single needle machine. I will be using this thread holder. Now there is one here, so you don't have to have one of these. I just like to use these for whether I'm sewing or embroidering. I use these thread holders, but you do have a thread holder on your machine already. I have my 3 colors of thread that I'm going to be using. I also have my design on my flash drive already, and I'll be using my 4x4 hoop, as well as a piece of patch twill. Now you can use, for patches, I would suggest either a patch twill, maybe a cotton, a felt, but I really like the patch twill. It has like a really soft and shiny feel to it. And then on the back, it does have its own adhesive, even though we're going to be embroidering over that. So really not going to be able to use that. But this is what I'll be using for this tutorial. I normally get this in either black or white. That's pretty much the colors that I use for my patches when I'm making them. But they have a ton of colors. I'll make sure to link where you can get patch twill if you want to look into it. And then now the most popular adhesive would be this Heat and Bond, the Ultra Hold. I am testing out a new hot fix adhesive today, so I will let you know how this turns out after I press my patch onto something, put it through the wash, and see how it does. But I'll be using some hot fix adhesive, but Heat and Bond Ultra Hold works just as well. And you would just follow the directions on the back of there. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything turned around and bring you guys over here, and we'll go ahead and get the machine set up so we can get this patch stitched out. All right, so I have the machine all set up, and we'll be getting ready to stitch out our first patch together. So I did forget that you will need a piece of stabilizer. This is tearaway stabilizer that I'm going to be using because it is a patch. So I forgot that. Just wanted to make sure that you know that you need stabilizer. Okay, so first things first, I've already put my flash drive in here. I'm just going to reach on the side here, turn my machine on. And you're going to want to make sure that there is nothing in this machine. Make sure you don't have your hoop on there, anything like that. You'll just tap your screen. It'll give you this little warning about everything I just said. Make sure this area is clear. Hit OK. Your carriage is going to move and you're good to go. So first things first, I'm going to show you how to put your bobbin in, which is very simple. So let me just move you a little bit closer here, and then I'm gonna try and zoom in a little bit. And so with your bobbin, you want to make sure it is coming off counterclockwise. So your thread needs to be coming off to the left here. You will drop your bobbin in, and there's a little hook right here. You're just going to put it around that and just follow that path. And then there's a thread cutter. It'll cut your thread, and then you will just put your top back on there. Simple as that. All right, so let me zoom you back out So then we can go ahead and select our design, so then we can get our thread colors set up as well. All right, and then we'll get our machine threaded, of course. So because my design is on my flash drive, I'm going to select this icon here that looks like a pocket. And then I'm going to select this icon there, the second one from the left. And I keep all of my, let me zoom in here. I keep all of my designs in folders and label them. That way I know where files are. So I don't just have a bunch of designs in there. I can find them easily. So I think this design is probably on page 3 or 4. Yep, here it is right here. Now you will have your hoop options up here. So this will be for your 5x7, your 5x7 magnetic hoop, as well as your 4x4, and then your 2x2, which is your little small hoop for like sleeve designs and things like that. If you select a hoop and the design is too big, it will be grayed out. You will not be able to select it, okay? So we're gonna go back to our 4x4. I'm gonna select my image and then I will hit set. And now we have our design set. All right, and then next, I'm gonna go ahead and hit, well, I'm not gonna hit edit end yet because we do need to hoop up our stabilizer and our patch twill. So I'm going to move the camera a little bit so you can see that. Okay, so I have my tearaway stabilizer, I have my patch twill, and I have my 4x4 hoop. I'm just going to loosen that. Set the bottom part with the connectors. So that'll be the bottom part of the hoop. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get my patch twill and my stabilizer right on top. Then grab the top part, just making sure everything is in there good. And then just press that down in there. And you may have to use a little bit of pressure. That is completely fine. That's what you want. You want your hoop to be, your fabric to be hooped up tight. And I'm just pulling this on the sides a little bit just to make sure that it is good and tight. And then I will go ahead and tighten our screw here at the bottom. And it should sound like a drum. Okay, so that's how you want it. You want to make sure that it is smooth, it's no wrinkles or folds or anything like that, and that it is very tight. So let's go ahead back to the machine and get her hooped up. All right, so now you'll go ahead and take your hoop and you're just going to connect it right on the sides here. You'll hear it snap into place. And then now we'll go ahead and first we'll do a trace and then we'll get our colors ready. So I'm gonna hit edit end. And then this little square here with the arrow, that is your trace. So we want to do a trace just to make sure the patch is where we want it to be. And then I'm gonna just go ahead and hit that, and then the machine will automatically go around so you can get an idea of exactly where it's going to stitch out at. If you need to make any adjustments now, that will be the time, or this will be the time to do it. I'm gonna hit OK. So if you need to move it up or down, you can, or to the left or right, you can do that there, but we are good. So I'm gonna just hit embroidery. Now this patch has 16,718 stitches. It's going to take about 33 minutes. The last two colors I'm not going to do, so I'm just going to be doing these 3 colors out of the 5. So the first one is asking for the yellow. So you're going to see that the color, or the color that is stitching out, ready to be stitched out, you'll see that here. And that's going to take 10 minutes. The next one's going to take 11 minutes. The next one's going to take another 10 minutes. Okay. So this here, I actually want to do that in pink. And then the next color where it's blue at, I'm going to do that in purple. And then the third color, I will be using black. So that'll be my color order. It'll be pink, purple, and black. All right. So let's go ahead and get the machine threaded. Okay, I wanted to change the angle so you could see really good as far as the whole process for threading. Now, again, this machine, and actually I have thread coming off, a lot of thread. Okay, there we go. So I have, again, I'm going to be using my thread holder here, this here. And I just set it off to the side, but you can also just put your thread on here and feed it through. It's going to be the exact same process whether you put it here or you're using a thread holder. So I'm going to just put my thread net back on here, set it on my thread holder, and then just say your thread was here. This will be the same process. So you're going to want to go down, you'll go up, you'll go around, down, back up, and then you'll go back down, okay? And then when you get down here at the bottom, let me zoom in for you. Okay, when you get down here, you're gonna put it right behind this right here, and then had some lint there. Okay, and then once you have it behind there, you'll take it here. So you're going to take it underneath here, on top of here. You'll want to put your foot down so you can use the automatic needle threader. You'll cut it, press that, and it is threaded. It's as simple as that. Brother makes it extremely easy to thread their machines. That is one thing that I love about Brother machines. All right, and then we'll lift our foot back up. And I do like to take my thread, I'm gonna pull it a little bit, and I like to put it in the eye of the foot. Let me just try and pull a little bit of my thread here if I can. Okay. And so I'm just going to put it here off into the presser foot versus having it just setting on top. So I'm going to just take a piece here and just put it in there and then just pull it out. So then that way it is underneath, threaded through, and we're ready to go. All right, so now we have that part done. I'm gonna move you over and let me zoom you out. Okay, so now we have everything set up. We have our first color ready. Again, I have my thread here on the thread holder, and we can put our foot down. Now, if this is red for any reason, even once you put your foot down, there's probably something, you're probably still on this screen. So if you're on this screen and you put your foot down, it's not going to embroider. It's not going to start. So you'll want to make sure that you hit that embroidery button, that you're looking at your design, and then you'll be ready to stitch out. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll get stitched out. Just hit that start button and it'll start doing its thing. And so I will be back for the next color change. And then from there, we'll get our patch cleaned up, we'll get our backing on, and then we will be finished. And we are down to the final color, and I actually decided to switch the color from black to white, just giving the color contrast or the color combination. I'm thinking it'll look better with white, so we'll find out. All right, so I'm gonna snip that, pull my thread through, and then move the purple off of my thread rack, and then I'll be using this here white. And we'll get that threaded up really quick so we can get finished up. And this is going to take 10 minutes for it to finish. So I will see you in just a couple of minutes to you, but 10 minutes to me. And we'll get this all cleaned up and get our backing adhesive on there, and our patch will be all done. So of course I'm just putting my thread through the foot here, and then I'll just grab that and hit our start button. So I will see you in a few seconds. All right, so our patch is done. Again, I'm not doing the last two, so you can just go ahead and skip those, and it'll take it back to the initial thread color. So all you'll do now is lift your foot up, hold this little lever here, and you'll just take your hoop off and slide it up under the foot. And that is how we're looking right now. I love it with the white. I'm glad I did that instead of the black. So let's go ahead and get her cleaned up. All right, so our patch has finished, and a lot of jump stitches just because of the individual letters. So first thing I like to do is get my lighter. Now you can use your scissors, your snips, or whatever you have, and to cut those threads off. I do like to use a lighter just because it is quicker, in my opinion. So I'm just taking it and just getting all those threads up, getting that cleaned up, and much better. And then here in the front, there were a couple that did like some jumps, so I do just want to go in and get those. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and unhoop it. So you're just going to unloosen that same screw. All right, and then I'm gonna use like these applique, these curved scissors here, so I can get into those little pieces and kind of get underneath there to break that thread, and then I'll go in and cut it. Perfect, and got just one more. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to use some scissors here, and I'm just going to cut all the way around very close to the edge without cutting my threads. Another thing that you can use is a hot knife. This thing is very sharp, and it gets up to like 800 or 900 degrees. This thing gets really hot. So it has your gauge, your switch right here. So of course, the redder, the hotter. If you do have one of these or purchase one of these, I would also purchase some heat resistant gloves, the same type of gloves that you can use for tumbler making. And those will be the same type of gloves that you would use. Just be careful when you're using this. This thing is really sharp and gets really hot. Take your time. Don't rush if you're going to use this hot knife, okay? So I'm gonna just set that to the side. And then I'm also going to grab my Cricut mini iron. Now you can also, for the adhesive backing, so I'm gonna just go ahead and let this warm up while I'm cutting the patch, okay? So, let's see here. Okay, just have to get that plugged, and I'm going to put it on the highest setting. And so while that is doing its thing, and then again, this is tearaway, so just tear it right on off. Like so, like that. And I'm gonna put that in the trash. And then I'm just going to take my time and cut around the edge. Again, very close, but you also don't want to cut your thread. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it down, cut this material down some. And for the adhesive backing, you can either use your household iron, a mini iron like this. You can use your heat press, whatever you have, you can use either one of those. And I'm just cutting it down. All right, and now I'm gonna go ahead and cut around the border. And when I say take your time, take your time. Because if you cut a thread, it's a wrap. So take your time, okay? And this is luckily a very just clean rectangle. So there's not a lot of moving parts to it, I guess, so to speak, or, you know, a bunch of like letters or different shapes or things like that I need to cut around. Is just a straight line all around. And I love patches like this. And our iron is ready. And then I do still have to cut my adhesive backing off, or just a small piece of that. All right, and I do want to cut it a little bit more, but again, just make sure you're careful. Don't cut any thread. If you do, you're in trouble. And the corners are going to be the trickiest, so take your time there too. Okay, and then what I'm also going to do is go around with my lighter. Now that's the one thing I do like about using my heat knife, because it does seal it in as you're cutting the material from around the patch. Because it's so hot, it seals in your stitches. So I'm gonna go around my patch with a lighter so I can seal in everything. And I'm just going right along the edges here. All right, and that is how she's looking. I love how the letters look with the white letters instead of the black, because I have done this with black thread before. And so I'm gonna go ahead and cut a piece of my adhesive. And I just want to cut enough just to make sure I cover my entire patch. And so actually, because I don't want to cut a whole piece, I'm just going to cut this bottom part here. And again, this is just some adhesive that I'm trying. So I will definitely do a follow-up to let you know if I like it or not. Oops, dropped my patch. Okay. And let me just get my mat here. And this is just a heat resistant mat for pressing or ironing. All right, and so I'm going to put my patch right side down onto the mat, and then I'm going to put my adhesive. I'm just trying to see, because I don't want to press the paper or the adhesive. I'm just trying to make sure I have it the right way, because you want the adhesive towards the patch and the carrier sheet up. And yeah, it looks about the same, which is not good. So let me take a look at this, because I don't want to jack up my iron. Okay. Carrier sheet, adhesive. So then I'm gonna just hold it in place, and then I'll just run my iron over it. And if you're going to use a heat press, you would use about 280 degrees for about 10 to 12 seconds when you're just putting the adhesive on there. And I'm just going to keep rubbing it over, and that should be good. And it will be hot, so you just want to let it cool for a little bit, and then you can go and kind of trim down the extra adhesive, because you don't want to leave that extra adhesive, because when you press it onto your garment, that extra adhesive that's around the patch will show. So you'll want to make sure that you trim it down. Okay, so it's on there good, still a little hot, but we'll go ahead. And so when I'm said the extra adhesive like this here at the bottom, on the sides, things like that, you don't want to peel this off and press it onto your garment like that. You want to make sure you're going to trim this down as well, which will only take less than a minute, and then your patch will be done and ready to press. Now it varies from adhesive to adhesive. Just make sure you read your instructions as far as pressing goes. You know, if you're going to be using a heat press or versus a household iron, those instructions will be on the instruction sheet that comes with your adhesive backing. And I just got to cut a little bit more down here, and cut some more around here, and we will be done. And so for those who ask for a very extremely beginner friendly video showing how to do all the things that you need to do to make your first patch, I do hope that I gave you all the information that you need. But that is how the patch is looking. It turned out really good. There is some truth in that. Hello, I'm allergic to people, being the introvert that I am. But that is how the patch turned out, using the Brother PE900 or any single needle embroidery machine that you do have. You can follow these same steps. It may be a little bit different process for threading the machine, but overall it's going to be pretty much, everything else is going to be pretty much the same. All right, so that was today's tutorial. Let me know below in the comments if you do have any questions. If you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell, so you'll know when I post new videos or when I go live. So until next time, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.